The directors of Mansfield and Ashfield Broadcasting Limited would like to completely distance themselves from any of the possible offensive material likely to be spouted by Martin Kelner and guests during the next 2 hours. For the avoidance of any doubt, you listen entirely at your own risk.
Long-distance lawyers and members of worldwide pressure groups can listen online at mansfield103.co.uk. All complaints should be addressed to Auntie Flo, 22 Fletcher Road, the Cayman Islands.
Young ears should not be listening to this programme.
Martin Kelner on Mansfield 103.2.
Excellent. That's Morrissey and the first of the gang to die. A little bit of Christmas for you there. Yes, it's officially Christmas, in fact, next week, I think from December the 1st, so it'll be next Monday or Tuesday, whatever it is, when we start playing all those lovely Christmas records here at Mansfield 103.2. But we thought we'd give you a little taster in advance, so here we go.
Walking round in women's
Marvellous. Yeah, that's a guy called Bob Rivers, and walking round in women's underwear, especially for the cross-dressing audience. There's quite a few of you out there. It's Martin Kelner here, in person on Mansfield 103.2. Yes, and what a pleasure it is to be with you. Steve actually wrote in. Steve, who sent me a joke last week, but he wrote in quite accurately. He said it was a bit of a lame show last week. Very lame jokes, he said. So he sent me 2 of his. He said, my friend was terribly depressed, so I threw him under a steam train. He was chuffed to bits. He also says, yeah, fabulous. Could come out of a crack of that one, couldn't it? He said, I was walking through a cemetery and saw a man behind a tombstone. Morning, I shouted. He says, no, I'm just taking the dog for a walk. So there you are. There'll be more quality humour. Well, there will be some quality humour in the show later on. This is Mel Torme. Yeah, well, that's another one of those that if you've accidentally kept the radio on after Kev Roberts, you'll have enjoyed that, 'cause it's a bit of a Northern Soul classic. Mel Torme, Mel Torme's a bit of a lounge singer, really, the Velvet Fog, but he had a couple of Northern Soul hits, that one and Coming Home Baby, which we played a few weeks ago. That was Mel Torme on Mansfield 103.2, the home of great music. Mate of mine has just emailed me. I love this. He lives in Edinburgh. And he's sent me a tale from Old Reekie, which is what they call Edinburgh up there. His girlfriend, Barbara, he says, Barbara's 90-year-old dad was in an Edinburgh cafe this afternoon. And he said, see that girl typing over there? And he points to a woman sitting next to us tapping into a laptop. Poor girl, she must live in lodgings and's got nowhere to work. It was J.K. Rowling, in fact. So, who does do that? She sits in cafes in Edinburgh and types. Now, in the next bit, we've got some fantastic stuff for you tonight. We have Mr. Paul Rising, who, like ourselves, we get a bit Christmassy there in Hampstead, NW3. And if he doesn't, I'll be playing the bells for him. And we'll have, I think Bernard may join us. I'm not sure whether Bernard Rush, journalist and traveller, will join us, but whatever, we'll have our very, very popular feature next, which is when we look at the local papers here on Mansfield 103.2.
The fabulous Late Martin Kelner Show may contain adult material and language that some listeners could find offensive.
The fabulous Late Martin Kelner Show.
Well, that's Patrice Rushen on Mansfield 103.2. There are some stations playing hours and hours of that stuff on a Saturday night. We're playing some more Christmas stuff very, very shortly. There's a little bit of Christmas for you there. A little bit of Christmas. We're getting close. That's Patrice Rushen and Forget Me Not.
Now it's time to go to London and Paul Rising.
Hey, Paul, we managed to get it for you this week.
How nice to hear my voice. It must be for you in Mansfield.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we wait for it each week.
Dark Pool. I've written down some names.
Ah, right.
Greyfield.
Yeah?
Cold all over. Doomstone.
Doomstone, yes.
Is there a Doomstone?
There should be. I'm not sure there is, actually. However, what I can tell you, Paul, I know you're a bit of a connoisseur of local newspapers like myself. You may be interested. I got hold of the Worksop Guardian.
Oh.
Yeah.
My heart goes flutter, flutter.
Well, you may be interested to know that Worksop funeral directors, Hopkinsons, held a successful open day recently. That's a story in the Worksop Guardian in celebration of their new refurbishment.
Oh, well, that's good to know, isn't it?
It was a lovely day. This is what funeral director Michelle Skelson said. It was a lovely day.
Yes.
Really successful. So well done. There's nothing like an open day to funeral directors to brighten up your Saturday, is there really?
Skelson. That's an interesting name, isn't it?
Skelson.
Skelson. How do you spell that?
Skelson.
Yes. Yes.
Normally when people say that, they say, how are you spelling that?
How are you spelling that?
Yes, I'm spelling it Skelson. It annoys me when people say, how are you spelling that? As in, how do you mean? You mean, how is it spelt?
What did I say? Did I say, how are you spelling that?
No, you didn't say that.
Oh, good.
No, you were
I'd
perfect.
hate to upset you. It is quite late.
It is late, isn't it? It's Saturday night, November the 28th, nearly Christmas.
Yes, nearly Christmas.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Is it Christmas? Do you have Christmas up there?
Yes, I think it's quite popular in around here. We've got Christmas lights in Mansfield.
No.
Yes, we have.
Oh, for heaven's sake. What is it? A bulb?
At the end of the main street, it says, "Welcome to Mansfield."
Oh, how charming.
Hello.
The picture it conjures up.
Happy Christmas from Mansfield, it says, I think, at the end of the street, in different colours, red, green and blue. So
Can you see it in your rear view mirror as you leave?
Yes, you do see it. It's exactly where you see it as you leave. You do see it in the rear view mirror.
Yes, that's where you'd want to see it, really, I suppose.
Paul, I got hold of a copy of the Barnsley Chronicle as well before I came down here.
You've done... the research for this programme is unbelievable.
It's excessive, actually. And I know if you're a connoisseur of minimalist headlines,
yes,
you'll like some of these headlines. These are the headlines from the Barnsley Chron.
Yes.
Book to be published. That is
Brilliant.
It just says book to be published.
Yes, book to be published.
Yeah,
well,
there's lots of them.
It leaves you wanting more, doesn't it?
A book commemorating Priory School in Lundwood is to be published next week.
Oh, don't read on. You know, you don't need to know, do you?
No, it's ask a book to be published. Man faces trial date.
Man faces trial date.
Yeah.
But that could sort of swing either way, couldn't it?
Yes, but they don't ever tell you what these stories are. It's got accused says not guilty, and it doesn't say. It doesn't give you any details. A 43-year-old man accused of undertaking or assisting in the retention or disposal of a stolen £4,000 BMW motor car was further remanded in custody when he appeared before Barnsley magistrates by means of video link.
Means of video link? My goodness,
Yes.
They've got all the mod cons up there, haven't they? My favourite headline was from the Wrexham Leader newspaper, which I used to... Perhaps it was the Border Counties Advertiser years and years ago where I used to work, and it was... Anorak had cord in hood. Classic, isn't it?
It's a popular design feature of the anorak, isn't it?
Yes, Anorak had cord in hood.
Yeah. Well, that's very much like book to be published, basically.
Published, yeah.
So tell me, last week, you remember, a long time ago, but remember you were talking last week about this obituary.
Oh, I found it beautiful.
Of a man called Reg.
It's a little slice of life. I won't give his full name. It was in The Guardian, actually, where normally, the great and the good are celebrated, when their light dims and eventually flickers out. But they have a little column called Other Lives, which are ordinary people. And this is Reg. The great throng at the funeral of my friend Reg, who has died aged 88, testified to an exceptionally well-lived life.
Yeah.
He was born in Finchley, North London, the only son of Bert and Connie. After leaving Haberdasher's Ask School, he joined the RAF and flew Wellingtons for Coastal Command in the Mediterranean, surviving 3 crashes and nearly falling through a door which some fool had left open, in quotes. Reg was a keen walker and birdwatcher, a very good club cricketer, playing well into his 50s, county badminton player, a scratch golfer. In 1966, he and Betty, who he married in 1951, came to live in Cedars Retirement Village near Chorleywood, Hertfordshire, where they became well-loved residents. They were also among the liveliest, though recently they both suffered severe disabilities, which they faced with cheerful fortitude.
Oh, isn't that
Reg
lovely?
plays golf, or even after he could no longer see the ball. Blind and arthritic, he conducted a keep fit session weeks before his death. He'd always been a lover of words and books. The greatest pride of his old age was in the poetry group he formed in 1996. He was a prolific poet. His verses might not always have scanned perfectly, but they were full of quirky humour. Some were just fun, like his last, provoked by finding a marmalade jar on Mount Ararat. But others had a serious point adroitly made.
Yes.
His incisive judgments also enlivened our book group, and one of his final acts was to award 10 out of 10 to Animal Farm instead of his more usual 2.5. Reg was a true original, brave, humane, clever, clear-eyed optimist, devoted husband, friend to many. It was typical that on his deathbed he worried about whether his doctor had had lunch.
Yeah.
Isn't that a marvellous story?
Yeah, it sounds like a right pain in the arse, actually.
No, I won't have that said about Reg.
I tell you what, I reckon when he could no longer see the ball, I reckon I could have taken him at golf.
Well, I dare say.
Yeah. No, he sounds like a real, salt of the earth.
Well,
Basically,
I mean,
salt of the earth.
sort of, that's sort of classic English life, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you hear that, it makes you think, I wonder what they'll write about us when we've gone.
Well...
there'll be nothing like that. They won't be able to write any of that. I can't play golf.
No.
Don't write poetry.
No.
I never...
Radio, I mean, they'll talk about your brilliance at the radio, the medium of radio.
Do you think so?
Maybe not.
No, maybe not. Paul, it's been a pleasure.
Is that it?
Well, yes, that's it. We have to move on. This is a fast-moving programme.
Well, God bless you, Mansfield, Coldstone, Darkpool, Greyfield, all those dreadful, shivering, horrible places.
And a happy
well.
Yes, and a happy Christmas to you too, Paul. We'll talk again next week if that's all right.
May we.
Bless you. Thank you very much indeed. Paul Rising, live from Hampstead, NW3.
Hello, Mansfield. It's my dad on a Saturday night.
Martin Kelner on Mansfield 103.2.
So you can transform almost any record into a Christmas record. Just a few bells there. Those were the Cure, of course, and Love Cats. It's Martin Kelner here on Mansfield 103.2. And now to our very popular part of the show, in which we look at some of the stories in the local papers. And we turn first, as always, to our favourite columnist, A.A. Grundy, in the Worksop Guardian. Well, what's he moaning about this week? He's moaning. There's a thing on the internet called the Daily Grundy, where if you can't wait for the Worksop Guardian, you can get his thoughts, and I use the word in a widest possible sense, on a variety of matters, actually on the internet. So here's one. What's he moaning about here? He's moaning about people climbing Everest. Here we go. His headline is, wish I had the time and money to faff about climbing mountains. So it's the only reason that A.A. Grundy isn't up Everest is the fact that he just can't afford it. And he hasn't got the time, really. He's busy frothing at the mouth in the Worksop Guardian. Right. On the radio this morning, writes A.A. Grundy, the BBC were getting all gushy and breathless about Sir Ranulph Fiennes climbing Everest. But frankly, these heroic feats leave me cold, even colder than I suspect Sir Ranulph was when he got to the top. Who cares? Here we have somebody rich and bored and with infinite time and money on his hands. If I was that blessed, I'm sure I'd have a go at climbing Everest. It's something to do, eh? And he's put summit, and he's put it as in summit. Genius. These things were okay back in the 1920s and 30s in the days of music halls, trams and threepenny bits, when folk were more simple and Boy's Own was the best-selling mag on the newsstands. Back then they've used rope and candles and canvas tents and stuff, and you genuinely marvel at how they managed to get up there with such primitive clobber. These days, in the age of thermal underwear, so now he's moaning because Sir Ranulph Fiennes has got warm underwear, right? These days, in the age of thermal underwear, helicopters and support teams, it's about as thrilling and newsworthy as a pensioner going for a walk on a windy day in Derbyshire. I just wish the BBC would stop salivating over these non-events. Richard Branson on another balloon jaunt. It's just a jolly for him and his rich pals. Some woman going round the world in a yacht. Yawn, pass me that pillow. I'm going to have a kip. I went on a plane once to America. Why haven't they done a story about that? So there you are. He's moaning about that. He's also moaning about power stations. Now, what can he find? Well, we'll find out shortly. But we are sort of preempting Christmas a little bit. Starting next week, December the 1st, you'll be able to hear all your favourite Christmas songs on Mansfield 103.2. But here's a little taster. This may not be your favourite Christmas song of all time. It's jolly nice. It's Nia and the Sunflakes. Merry Christmas indeed. That's Nia and the Sunflakes and White Christmas. We've got more. It's not sort of officially Christmas yet, but, B&Q and DFS, they've got their Christmas ads, Marks and Sparks, all the supermarkets advertising their Christmas stuff. We start playing Christmas records here next week, so we thought we'd, because I just love the Christmas stuff. And I've got so many bizarre Christmas records, some of which I'll play between now and midnight tonight. Also, coming up shortly, biting news. This has been a very, very popular part of the show. We must be getting hundreds of emails a week saying who's bitten what off whom, and we'll do that for you very, very shortly. So stay tuned. It's Mansfield 103.2.
The fabulous late Martin Kelner Show.
Excellent. Well, originally one of those Phil Spector productions. That was the Ramones there, and Baby, I Love You, Baby. It's Martin Kelner here on Mansfield 103.2.
One for all and all for one. Martin Kelner is still Bobbins. One for all and all for one. His future's behind him. One for all and all for one. Even so they signed him. So he's here for everyone. Lucky, lucky you. Sha-la-la, sha-la-la. He's only been put on air. Sha-la-la, sha-la-la. 'Cause his kids need new footwear. Sha-la-la, sha-la-la. The poor chap's got to cope with all his kids' demands. Sha-la-la, sha-la-la. Although this load of tosh, sha-la-la, sha-la-la, is not worth that much dosh. Sha-la-la, sha-la-la. So in fact no money has exchanged hands. One for all and all for one. Martin Kelner is still Bobbins. One for all and all for one. Dozens can't be wrong now. One for all and all for one. Join this merry throng now. Mansfield's never had such fun on 103.2.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, and the sad thing about all that is it's true. Now, I'm a bit of a connoisseur of people giving up their jobs in spectacular ways. And I've got a little extract here from Radio Tay, which is up in Scotland somewhere, I think it's Dundee. And let's have a listen to this.
Crashed into a cargo ship 6 weeks ago. And finally, this is the last time you'll hear me utter those words here on Radio Tay. It's been fun for the past 3 years, and I leave with a heavy heart as part of the changes that have, in my humble opinion, destroyed a station I helped set up 29 years ago. With that, I'll say goodbye, but I hope you persevere and keep on listening. Radio Tay News, it's 2 minutes past 2.
You got me big.
Oh, they should have played that. I like that. Yeah, so there he was. It's a load of old bollocks, but keep on listening, everybody. And here's another one I rather like.
Your morning news programme. This is Winchester This Morning.
All this week, the ancient art of fisting a chicken is taking place at Sainsbury's in Badger Farm. This way of removing a bird's innards has been used since the 17th century in France. To celebrate, there will be fisting demonstrations in store all week. A Winchester travel consultant.
I think somebody's been spoofing her. And interesting of that chicken fisting thing, it leads rather nicely into this. Yeah, lovely and festive. That's Robin Lang and the man who slits the turkeys' throats at Christmas. Nut roast, anyone? It's Martin Kelner here on Mansfield 103.2.
Hey up! Martin Kelner on Mansfield 103.2.
That's David Joseph and You Can't Hide Your Love, big disco hit in the 80s. Really, I love to play that David Joseph record simply because he came to my wedding. I've never met him before in my life. There was I got married in 1983, and the radio station I was working on, it might have been 1982, I've forgotten. The business could tell you. But I got married way, way back, early 80s. And the radio station I was working for, there was the DJ who did the sort of disco show, as we called it in those days, used to go out and do live stuff around the discos. And one of the things he did was, if there were artists who had a record to plug, he would take them around a series of discotheques in West Yorkshire. Or wherever. Manchester he did a lot of as well. He'd take them to these places, and then they would mind their latest single, and they'd throw out a bit of merchandise and sign things. And he said, I can't come to your wedding. Because I've got David Joseph, and I've got to take him round to various clubs, because he's doing signing sessions and everything. And what he did was, he brought him round to my wedding disco, not telling him it was just a mate's wedding. He told him it was a gig. So David Joseph turned up at my wedding, handing out T-shirts. The people were, what the hell's going on here? You know, they'd only just finished the Scotch eggs and the pork pies and things at the buffet. And there's this guy coming in and saying, do you want a T-shirt? Yeah, all right, I'll have a T-shirt. Nobody knew who he was. He was just some nutter handing out T-shirts, which was great fun. So that's why I like to play the record. It just reminds me of that. Now, I did promise earlier we'd do biting news. A reasonable haul of biting news this week, and I'm so thrilled that people are continuing to bite various bodily parts of other people. A grandmother bit a robber. So that'll teach him a lesson. Unfortunately, she bit him with false teeth. So it wasn't as effective as you might expect. A grandmother sank false teeth into a robber who was trying to steal money that she collected for charity. She's from Belfast. She fought off two burglars. No, I'm fighting them off. She fought off two burglars who broke into her house on Saturday, last Saturday actually. One man pushed the pensioner over onto a bed and held his hand over her mouth. But she fought him off by biting, punching. So they've actually see, normally false teeth, they don't fit as well as that. But these are obviously quite good ones. And she bit him, and that was it. He disappeared. They claim to be plainclothes policemen who are investigating. It says here, investigating string burglaries. Are people stealing string? No, I think what they were investigating was a string of burglaries rather than string burglaries in the area. And but basically, well done. She bit them and off they went. Now, but she didn't actually sever any body parts there, which is a little bit. It's a bit disappointing, really. Man took bite out of victim's ear at party. A reveller. What a reveller. Bit part off of his victim's ear in a drink-fuelled row. This was in Edinburgh, this. And he bit his ear in the city's Nidri Street, which is, it's a bit of a popular activity in that street. They'd been to a nightclub, fight had broken out. And he said he had little recollection of the evening afterwards. He thought he'd had a kebab. He didn't realise, but anyway, he didn't remember a thing about it. A man on trial for biting the top off another man's ear said it was all he could do. He said it was in self-defence. So there you are. It's a disappointing haul. They're not the greatest biting stories. I do like biting off noses is a better one, but there wasn't one this week. Never mind. Okie dokie, we've got the news coming your way very, very shortly. Right now, we've got a beautiful track. This is, it's called Lovin', this track, and it's the Charles Lloyd Quartet.
The fabulous late Martin Kelner Show.
Oh, that's David Bowie and Boys Keep Swinging here on Mansfield 103.2. Yeah, Boys Keep Swinging.
Helen, yeah?
And
comes round again.
Yeah, that's the Christmas version.
I don't care if I get sellotape for it.
So let's see who's on. Sorry, hello. Let's see who's on the line.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, we're doing a sort of pre-Christmas thing because it's Christmas coming up, and
is it?
Yeah, on the line. It's Anthony Farrell.
Hello.
Anthony, bless you for joining us. Yeah, for phoning through. Yeah, that's really good of you.
Yeah.
So,
Martin.
Yeah, for people.
You're like, you know me, don't you?
I know you. You phoned me.
You was on the jury, was it?
No, but you have you have phoned me before on other radio stations,
I
was
having fun.
Yeah,
There's no one left alive. What was on the jury?
No, you've tracked.
No, what can speak?
What we ought to say is you've tracked me down here. You phoned me on other radio station.
I find you, don't I?
You always find me, whichever station I'm working for. Because you have got a phone card, haven't you?
That's the thing. Yeah, I've got a phone card. I didn't have a phone card.
No, that's right.
I got a craft knife, and then I did have a phone card.
Yeah, because you're in. You're basically. Well, let's make no bones about it. You're in a young offenders institution.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's still Christmas, isn't it?
It's Christmas coming up. That's right.
Well, like Christmas, because 'tis the season to be blacked up the head, is it?
Well, indeed, it's Christmas coming up. What happens in there Christmas time?
It's nice. It's nice, because I like this time of year.
Yeah.
Because everything's just it's all what is the same as normal, but a little bit special.
Yeah, it is.
Everything's just a little bit more special.
Yeah.
The shoplifting is just a little bit more fun.
It's more festive, isn't it?
It's more fun because obviously I can't do that in here.
No.
Because are you getting ready for Christmas?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to. Yeah.
Putting things up.
I've got a few things up, yeah.
Yeah, we put things up.
Do you?
Yeah, and we make mince pies.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. What happens is, at dinner, we save all the mince out of a shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
We save the mince, in our pocket or whatever, and then we eat it with bits of Kit Kat.
Right. And does that, what's that like? It sounds awful.
It's like a mince pie.
Yeah.
And it's fizzy. Depends how long you wait.
Yeah.
And... I made a Yule log.
Did you?
Yeah, my warden, Mr. Prentice, he didn't like that.
No,
you made it all went up the walls. I was a bit upset.
Yeah.
So, I've got another question for you.
Yeah?
What do you want Santa to bring you for Christmas?
Do you know, I've not really decided. What do you get the man who has nothing, really?
Yeah.
Well,
I tell you what, yeah?
I'd like a nice new pair of trousers, actually.
Would ya?
Yeah.
Why? Are you a little bit nervous?
No. Well, I'm a little bit.
I'm
a little bit nervous talking to you, Anthony.
Oh, yeah?
You're
nervous?
There's always a sort of
I'll
slight...
tell you what, yeah, because I know Santa.
Yeah.
I know Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Who are you talking to, though?
What's your address? I'll get them to come and bring you something special, yeah?
Yeah, what if you just send it to...
No, just give me your address now, yeah? And I'll get someone to bring you something special.
Really?
Yeah, because I've got friends out. I mean, I could talk to Santa.
Oh, good. Well, if
Where do you live?
100,
289?
Yeah, 280, something like that. But if he sends it to Mansfield 103...
What road?
103.2, it's on... it's just if you just Mansfield 103.
And I'm writing this down.
People will know. Don't bother writing it.
I've got as far as 1. I'm doing it with a craft knife in my arm.
It's hard to do it, isn't it? If you just send to 103.2, that'll...
Just that.
Oh, I've got a postcode for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. NG18.
Hang on.
Does he work with postcodes, Santa? I suppose he does. NG18.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I'm going to pass out with the pain.
NG18.
8.
2.
10.
Yeah, 2.
80 or 18?
18, 18.
Oh, I'm going to have to cross this out. Oh.
2, 8. Look.
Oh.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Thanks ever so much for calling.
You're not going to ask me what I want for Christmas.
What do you want for Christmas?
I want some spare blades for my craft knife.
Well, that would come in handy.
Then I can get whatever I want.
Of course you can.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter then, does it, really? Anthony,
Merry Christmas, yeah? To you and both your listeners, yeah?
Yeah, both of them. Thank you. All the best to you.
Yeah,
there we go. No worries.
Yeah,
wicked. That's Milk and Alcohol. That's Dr. Feelgood. It's Martin Kelner here on Mansfield 103.2. Got some more bizarre Christmas stuff to come. Stay tuned.
It's my dad's fantastic show.
Martin Kelner on Mansfield 103.2.
It's another sing-along piss-poor jingle with Martin Kelner on Mansfield 103.2.
Where we're prematurely celebrating Christmas. We'll start officially here playing Christmas songs December the 1st, but I always look forward to Christmas just to play this. It's about my favourite Christmas song of all time by Loudon Wainwright.
Well, the banks and the schools and the post office are closed. You can park where you please and you won't get towed. The streets are empty and the stores are finally closed. It's Christmas morning.
So, yeah, we are a little bit premature celebrating Christmas, but, you know, the supermarkets have all got their ads out. In fact, I've got Steve, who supplies me with the jokes on email, sent me one here. He says, my wife says I remind her of Richard Hammond. We both nicked trolleys from Morrison's. Marvellous. Yeah, my problem is that I analyse things too much. Or not enough. Who knows? Interesting balance. Now, if you're wondering how you could get into this high-earning action as a top radio announcer, we got some advice. There's an American DJ. He's recorded this years and years ago, but he's still going. And he used to, if you're very old, you may remember a program called Rowan and Martin's Laughing on BBC Two. He did all the announcements. Guy's called Gary Owens, and this is the Gary Owens Golden Voice Announcers School.
Hi, friends. Have you ever said to yourself, I would like a career in radio announcing? If the answer to that is yes, then you're going about it in the wrong way. You should say it to someone else. What does it take to become a radio announcer? Well, actually, it takes many things. Do you own your own voice? Can you say 6 silly words without laughing and mean them? Do you have a lot of money? Well, if so, you qualify for enrollment in the Golden Voice Announcers School. I'll bet that you'd never guess from the sound of my voice that I am actually a 67-year-old deaf-mute woman, and that only 9 short years ago I heard a commercial just like this one and was inspired to climb out of my deathbed and enroll. As soon as my check for $13,000 was received, classes began. In addition to announcing, our voice training course will teach you to impersonate TV and motion picture stars like this. Howdy, partner, I'm John Wayne. Or, howdy, partner, I'm Natalie Wood. Isn't that exciting? You can learn to do many other famous persons' voices, like Stanley L. Spiro, Carl Betts, Elena Verdugo, Ferrante and Teicher, or the all-time favorite, Don DeFore. Here's how to take advantage of this limited offer. Send $13,000 and any priceless heirloom to Golden Voice Announcer School, care of Phil's Barber Shop, Waco, Texas. And as a bonus, if you sign up immediately, you will receive an actual recording of Dick Clark, way back in 1956, stuttering and unable to pronounce the word nope. Here is an excerpt from that recording.
Okay, Dick, take 28 coming up. Try to relax now, will you, pal? The word is nope. N-O-P-E, nope. Right, all right, let's hit it. All right, Dick, that's it's good. It's coming. Take 29. All right, Dick. Yeah, that's lunch 1 hour.
In addition, for those of you who happen to be listening to this message on a radio, here is a special offer. You will receive your first lesson free if you can identify this photograph of our mystery person. Now, here's a clue to help you out.
The first part's true. The second's a lie. The third remains the same. Put them together and take them apart, and then you will have my name.
How can we guarantee that after taking our course, you will have a perfect speaking voice? The answer is simple. Each of our students has an amplifying device surgically inserted in his throat. We call this device our Big Boy Voice. And it is hardly noticeable because externally it resembles half a bow tie. So don't delay. Send your check today and get in on the high-paying action as a famous radio personality. And remember our slogan, if it weren't for your mouth, you'd be talking out of your nose.
That's so true, so true. This is Martin Kelner here with my big boy voice on Mansfield at 103.2. And when you've done the course and you become a high-paid radio announcer, then you get to interview major personalities. I'm going to play you a bit now from an Australian breakfast show, one of those sort of arty-farty stations, where she's about to interview Stephen Burkoff, the well-known British playwright.
1300 222 774. Now, there are a few indelible imprints on all of our white matter. I want to see yours. Tell me, when did your father say something or do something that you will always recall? I'll let you in on mine a little bit later. But for the meantime, 1300 222 774. Those indelible snapshots that said something to you about the character of this man. I want to hear from you. 1300 222 774. Of course, the filial bond has been explored by Stephen Burkoff. Everything has been explored by Stephen Burkoff. Still, he's known, and you must get annoyed with this, Mr. Burkoff. You're still referred to as an enfant terrible, aren't you, dear? Stephen?
Oh, yes.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Have you dropped off, dear?
I can't understand you. Your accent is so strong, it's barely penetrable.
Really? You think so?
Yes.
This is strange, Mr. Burkoff, because I'm often complimented on its neutrality. I will try and adopt the Queen's English.
No, not Queen's. It's just the tone. Maybe it's early in the morning for me to pick it up.
Well, look, I hoped that you'd be a curmudgeon for me, and a curmudgeon you are being. Mr. Burkoff, you are in Australia.
No kidding, I didn't realise that.
Excellent.
I thought it was Japan.
Well done. And you are in Australia to perform your new work.
Yes.
Are you going to help me out with this, Stephen?
Yeah, well, speak normally to me and I can respond normally.
I have to say...
You say you're in Australia, I don't know I'm here.
You see, Stephen, this was my way of telling others that in fact...
I see. Oh, God, you're right then. I'm in Australia, yes.
Yes. No, see, you've ruined the moment, Stephen, and it was going
Sorry, what a shame.
Yes, you have... No, look, I can only say I'm actually very, very happy about this because... Since the time of me being a girl, I've enjoyed your work immensely. The first thing I believe that I saw that was written by your own fair hand was East, and I always suspected that you might be a bit of a pugilist in conversation, and here it's true you are.
Not a pugilist at all. It depends what I hear.
Now, how shall we recommence this exchange?
Talk normally, talk rationally, talk intelligently, and I can respond. But if you say, oh, you still, are you an enfant terrible, dear? That I don't even like being called dear.
Well, now, there you are. She's trying to be a little bit clever with Stephen Burkoff. We'll revisit that in the next bit of the show and find out if they got any better. And in a moment, we'll have... Actually, they're out at Fleetwood Mac. They're doing stuff again, aren't they? And we've got Stevie Nicks on the show next.
The fabulous late Martin Kelner Show.
That's Stevie Nicks on Mansfield 103.2, and that one's Rooms on Fire. Here's a bizarre thing that I read in Chad, the Chronicle and Advertiser in Mansfield. And it was a guy, it was a golden wedding report. It was a lovely golden wedding report, but it's just a strange expression that the wife, who's been married for 50 years, used at the end. But basically what the story is this guy, he was a junior footballer up in County Durham somewhere, and got a chance to move to, well, not to move to, I think he got a chance of a trial, reading between the lines, with Liverpool Football Club, but never went because he wanted to stay with his teenage sweetheart. There was only one choice for the then 16-year-old apprentice bricklayer from Hettonley Hole in County Durham. So instead of going through his trial to Liverpool, he got married to his teenage sweetheart, you see, and now they've been married 50 years, and he's a miner, you see, and he lived down in round here. He worked down the mines at Rufford, Newstead and Blidworth, so well-known sort of mines in the now defunct Nottinghamshire coalfield. And basically what he's saying is that if he'd not married his teenage sweetheart, he could have played for Liverpool. I often say, if I hadn't married my wife, I could have split the atom and been question master on Question of Sport. But, these things happen. So he never did that. But at the end, they always ask them, don't they, these stories, when it's a golden wedding, they always ask them, why have you, what's your secret? That's what they were saying. What's your secret? How have you stayed together all this time? And she says, so what's the secret of a happy marriage? And they normally say, oh, well, we always talk to each other, or we share the same interests, or whatever. So she's asked at the end of this story, what's the secret of a happy marriage? And this is the final paragraph. It says, and Joyce says, a happy marriage has a simple base. I think it's just 6 and 2 3s. That's what she says. I think you said, what the hell is she talking about? She gone off her chump. I think it's just 6 and 2 3s. I mean, you say that when people say, should we go to the pictures or should we go out to the pub? Oh, I don't know, 6 and 2 3s. But 50 years married, and all she can say is, I think it's 6 and 2 3s. It's a funny old world, isn't it? And it's nearly Christmas as well, and I thought you'd like to hear a lovely Christmas song. This is Red Sovine.
You ain't getting shit for Christmas.
Well, I think we can say, without much fear of contradiction, that one's not going to be on heavy rotation here at Mansfield 103.2 over the Christmas season. I suspect this might be the only place you'll hear it. Red Sovine, who had a big country hit with Teddy Bear, which I'll play for you one week because I love that one. And that was him in playful mood, illustrating that Christmas is not always a happy time all over the place for families. Anyway, Red Sovine there. And more bizarre Christmas stuff to come for you here on Mansfield 103.2.
Martin Kelner on Mansfield 103.2.
That's Donald Byrd and a bit of funk for you here on Mansfield 103.2. That's Falling Like Dominoes, which I thought was quite appropriate. I sort of recalled the record when I saw the celebrations at the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, because they did that little dominoes thing. Lech Walesa pushed them all over and then nearly fell over himself. Yeah, it was sweet, I thought, very sweet. Now, while we're doing international news, a town has been forced to cancel its annual rabbit throwing contest after a campaign by animal lovers. The contest normally takes place in Waiau in New Zealand to mark the town's annual pig hunt. So that's good. They have a rabbit throwing contest before the pig hunt. It's like a sort of curtain raiser. You sometimes get a football match at Wembley and they have a little junior match first. Well, these rabbits, they're like the junior match, and then they have the pig hunt. It's fantastic. Children see how far they can throw a dead rabbit. So they're dead rabbits they're throwing. But the RSPCA, or the RNZ SPCA, so it's the Royal New Zealand Society for Protection of Cruelty to Animals, the Animal Welfare Group, said the event sent the wrong message. Yeah, it does, doesn't it, really? And what they said was, do you throw your dead grandmother around for a joke at a funeral? No, of course you don't. You have a little wake with some pork pies, don't you, and Scotch eggs. And Joe Moriarty, the organiser of the pig hunt, said that, wait for it, said the decision was political correctness gone mad, which is what they always say. Well, while we're down under, let's see how our interviewer on Breakfast Radio in Australia is getting on with with Stephen Burkhoff. Here we go.
All right, Stephen, you're a playwright and actor and director of some note. You've got a new play, and you're on the radio to flog it. How good is it, sir?
How what?
Oh, really and truly.
How good?
How good is it? How good is it? I was giving you an opportunity.
Question beggars belief. How can I say how good is it?
It's
the audience who will tell me how good it is. I can only just say what it's about. I can't say, hey, it's really great, mate, it's terrific. I can't do that. I can only communicate with you the essence of the piece. You say, oh, how good is it? I'm not selling a car.
Now, Stephen, I'm not entirely sure what you're doing in striving to mimic my accent.
Because it's such a stupid comment, how good is it? Am I going to say it's not good or it's very good? It's not for me to say as a performer, it's the audience and the critics.
What about those Hawks? They're going well in the league, aren't they, Steve? What do you reckon?
You should play the witch in Macbeth. It would be very good.
Which one?
Any one of them. You'd suit all of them.
I always felt really that Lady Macbeth was calling to me. Unsex me now, and give me the venom to continue this thing that can barely be called an interview with the very great Stephen Burkhoff, who, despite his extraordinary rudeness, is a man that I still admire. His new work is called One Man. A portion of that is based on the noted dark romantic short story, The Telltale Heart, by Edgar Allan Poe, and the other bit of it is his own piece. Would you like to tell me the name of that, Stephen, or is that, again, another inane question that insults your...
No, it doesn't, because you're asking a question. That's quite, normal, and that gives information. If you say, how good is it, I mean, that's a dumb question and can only be responded to in equal way, because it's meaningless. When you sell a car, you say, hey, it's really good, mate. It's not about performance. It's not for the artist to say. But if you ask the name of something, that's not a silly question, and it's called Dogs.
Excellent. I am taking notes for my future as a broadcaster, so thank you. Do continue.
Were you nearly finished?
Unfortunately, I feel this is going nowhere. Unfortunately, I feel that you're unable to bend your ear, which is unfortunate, because you are a playwright very skilled in abstruse dialogue at times. So I really do think, sadly, Mr. Burkhoff, that you're going to have to go away very quickly. He is a curmudgeon. It is plain. Hey, Trace, good morning. Tracy Bartram, how are you?
Oh, look, I'm happy to talk to you, and I've just caught the last few seconds of someone being very grumpy and cantankerous.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what's known as just start digging the hole and keep on digging and digging and digging. That's from Australian radio, and the guy was Stephen Burkhoff. We'll try and squeeze in a couple more Christmas things, or at least one more bizarre Christmas thing before we go at midnight tonight and make way for Lee.
It's another sing-along piss-poor jingle.
Sure is.
On the fabulous late Martin Kelner show on Mansfield 103.2.
Hello, Mansfield. It's my dad on a Saturday night.
Happy birthday!
Oh, that's sweet, isn't it? That's Jimmy Durantin, Frosty the Snowman, on Mansfield 103.2, the home of great music this time of the year. Starting playing the Christmas records officially December the 1st. While we were doing bloopers, radio bloopers, we heard all the stuff from Australia. Graham Wall, who's one of our internet listeners, has sent me a bunch of bloopers, which he's got from somewhere or other. This was a New Zealand rugby commentator, Murray Mexted, who said, Andrew Mertens loves it when Darryl Gibson comes inside of him. Pat Glenn, I remember this one actually, Pat Glenn, the weightlifting commentator. Oh, and this is Grigorieva from Bulgaria. I saw her snatch this morning and it was amazing. It's a weightlifting move, that. Karenza Lewis, about finding food in the Middle Ages on Time Team Live, said apparently, you'd eat beaver if you could get it. What else have we got here? Mike Hallett discussing missed snooker shots on Sky Sports. Yeah, Stephen Hendry jumps on Steve Davis's misses every chance he gets. What else have we got? Michael Burke, this is watching Philippa Forrester cuddle up to a male astronomer for warmth during BBC One's UK eclipse coverage, said they seem cold out there, they're rubbing each other, and he's only come in his shorts. And Ken Brown, I don't find any of this funny because I don't understand the double entendres here. I wonder what the French is for double entendre. Ken Brown commentating on golfer Nick Faldo and his caddy Fanny Sunnison lining up shots at the Scottish Open. Some weeks Nick likes to use Fanny, other weeks he prefers to do it by himself. Anyway, and those are all genuine, and they all actually went out on British radio. Let's hear another one that went out, and this is another one where it's sort of unfortunate. When you get to the end of it, you should read, when you're doing stuff, I never do, but when you're reading stuff on the radio, you should read it right through to the end.
On Sunday, there's a tribute show at the Anstis Memorial Club in Madeley. Tributes will include Roy Orbison, Buddy Holly and the Everly Brothers. This is Jim Hawkins' worst nightmare, by the way. Send him to see 3 tribute acts in one night. He'd sooner stick forks in his eyes. Tickets are £8. You can get them on Telford 585 711. All proceeds will go to Guide Dogs for the Blind.
Very, very, very unfortunate, as indeed this was.
What have your children, grandchildren done that brought near disaster? You can laugh about it now, but at the time, you wanted to murder the little mites. On 01604 234455. Headlines at 8:31, Andrew Rad.
A woman's been arrested on suspicion of murder after a baby and a 3-year-old child were found dead at a house in Manchester.
I think I know the guy who actually did that. I think it was a guy called Bernie Keith, who's a bit of a legend in BBC Radio. You know, it happens to the best of us. That's it for this week. Don't forget, it's officially Christmas next week, on December the 1st. You'll be hearing, well, I suspect you won't be hearing You Ain't Getting Shit for Christmas, but you might be hearing some other Christmas stuff here on Mansfield 103.2. It's Lee Thomas with you next here, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, from me, Martin Kelner, that's it. I'm back at 10 o'clock next week, so I hope you can join me then, and we'll finish with King Curtis.